All right. It's my first time going live to post game react to the Carolina Panthers. But I felt like it was appropriate because it was a lot of anticipation for this game, a lot of anticipation for Cam Newton coming back home, and then Ron Rivera coming back home as well. So I think I'm going to make this a regular occurrence. Me being a Carolina native, and somewhat following the Carolina Panthers, and Cam being one of my favorite football players. I think it'll be real good for me to cover them and get some commentary and and pay close attention to what's going on down there in Charlotte. So we will go ahead and go over this reunion game between Cam Newton and Ron Rivera, and also a homecoming for Cam Newton and Ron Rivera as well. Panthers is kind of right there, smack in the middle of making a playoff run. Looks like the football team can make a push as well. They've won what, two straight. They beat the defending champions Tampa Bay, and then they beat come in and beat the Panthers, and they didn't look bad doing it. They lost two key defensive players. So all the people that was doing pregame commentary on this and giving their prediction and stuff like that, a lot of people picked Carolina. Carolina was able to come in, and even though Cam didn't start last game, he accounted for two touchdowns, and PJ Walker played pretty good. And they pretty much beat the Arizona Cardinals handedly. And even though they was on their backup quarterback, they won a convincing game before that. And then if you look at what they was able to do this week, still with their backup quarterback, they won again. So you kind of can legitimize a little bit the Panthers beating them. So I kind of want to go over some things I seen and what I think what the issue, and then we'll go over some sound bites on Coach Rule and actually Dante Jackson, who seemed to get eaten up pretty good by McLaren. It seemed like most of the big plays early on was made on him, but there was a whole bunch of hiccups in the secondary, and then the pass rush wasn't there, and they wasn't stopping the run either. And when they were able to get them to third down and long, or uh, uh, sometimes even fourth down, the defense can get out the field. It just seemed like Washington would make a play. It just seemed like Taylor Heineke would make a play. And it was just frustrating to watch, man, because I was like, God, Lee, I thought the strong suit of this team was the defense, especially the secondary. And that's the part of the team that seemed like it kind of didn't show up this game. I thought Cam played nice. As you can see, he had an efficient game, high completion game, not high number of total yards. He was mostly managing the game. I didn't see a lot of deep routes and a lot of Cam, like he usually do, hold on to the ball, trying to look for something downfield. He was getting it out quick, hot routes and of course him not knowing the playbook. They probably didn't go real deep into their playbook. So they was trying to give him, simple routes, simple reads. And I think he did a pretty good job. 6 incompletions, with 27 attempts is not bad, but he was under 200 yards. Threw for 2 touchdowns. That touchdown he threw to, I want to say CMC down the right seam was a real good. But I seen him connect a lot of times with Greg Olsen with that route as well, with linebackers on him. But CMC is a little smaller target, so that was good to see him able to beat the linebacker in the safety with that touchdown pass. And I think that I want to say that maybe that tied it up at 14 when he did that. I think they tied it up at 14, but hey, it was good. CMC had a good game. He only had 10 rushes though. He had 7 catches, so he did touch the ball 17 times. But 10 rushes for him. Cam had 10 rushes, so to match, I mean, I get it. Cam got wheels. He's a big red zone target. He can move. You can utilize his legs. but I don't want it to get to the point to where Cam is running so much where he's starting to take punishment again, because that's kind of how his body kind of broke down before. You know, if you look at the best quarterbacks, I don't care if it's Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, and when they're getting hit, it's not just the fact that they're sensing the pressure, because they're so good at what they do, um, that they able to have pressure and still, efficiently move the ball, right? They just won't get those deep routes, because they can't hold the ball too long. But when they're completing passes and the pressure is still there, and you're able to get little small hits on Tom Brady, even if the ball is out, the fact that you touched them, you hit them, you put them on the ground, you start to see those quarterbacks percentages drop significantly, right? You can really get in their head. They just don't like getting hit. And they're not going to want to tuck it and run it and keep taking that punishment and that hit. And what a lot of people don't think about is when your quarterback's getting hit as much as a skill position player like a running back or a receiver, it throws a lot off with their timing and their rhythm and all that stuff. So, they take a hit for it with their passing and their completions. But on top of that, if you're getting off the ground and you're falling to the ground so much, remember, your elbows, hands, shoulders, especially on your throwing arm, you start getting banged up with that, it's gonna affect everything you do. Like quarterbacks really gotta stay untouched, so they can make timely throws, and they can make any throw. And if you got any type of nicks and bruises or bangs on your elbow, your bicep, your tricep, your shoulder, your wrist, your thumb, any of your digits, like you got to protect that at all costs. And for Cam Newton to always be running and getting hit and falling continuously on his hands and arms and shoulders, and he getting hit in the shoulders, I think that contributed a lot to some of his inconsistencies with his throws, and a lot with some of his completion percentage. That's something a lot of people don't get him you know um a closer look into to see. But the only thing they really say is just come out and say Cam's inaccurate. He's inaccurate. But they never go below the surface just a little bit and say why he's inaccurate. It's more than just that he can't make throws. I don't think he can't make the throws. I think it's that physically, he's putting himself in a disadvantage by being a runner. But anyway, I did like what I saw from Cam, and and as well as CMC. He was able to get Robbie Anderson the ball a little bit. He was able to get DJ Moore the ball a little bit, and CMC. Even Trimble caught a couple of passes. I don't like that the run game. I would like to impose I will a little bit more in the run game. And CMC, even though he's still trying to prove to the world that he can be an every down back, he's got in the weight room, tried to beef up. He wants to be an every down back, but we just got to call a spade a spade. He's not an every down back. And much like how Mark Ingram was able to pound and run inside the tackles, while Alvin Kamara, or Kamara, how you want to say it, was doing some of the other things. I think you need a running back like that for CMC, and that'll preserve him a little bit. He can still get some of those runs between the tackles, but he's not going to be doing this so much. And you kind of see that, when you have, so even though these running backs are good and dynamic, it don't matter if it's Dalvin Cook, Kamara, even Aaron Jones is not that big. These running backs, they're gonna wear down a little bit faster, and then it's going to get to the point where they get nicked up more often. And you see that with all those guys. And I think Green Bay realized that, and that's why they bought in AJ Dillon. He can take that punishment and hold up. And then even him being as good as he is, you got Aaron Jones being out now. You're able to have a Dylan step in and just be a every down back. So I think Carolina can benefit by going to go find somebody. I don't know if there's anybody out there now that they can get for the rest of this run, but they definitely need to address it in the offseason. But CMC is a star, man. So I'm not saying anything negative about it. I'm just saying if you want him around for a full season plus playoffs, you might want to think about investing in uh, a big back that can take take some of the load off of them. That's all. So also um it's an interesting soundbite from Matt Rule. I play it, then I come back and I talk about it. Hold on, I'm sorry. He made a couple of good points in there. Toward the end, he's talking about how they was getting penalized, and I seen a couple of those plays where they would have a positive run or a positive pass, and then they come back for a hold, and it's like drive killers, because it'd be like 1st and 10, and boom, they break something off good, and then it's coming back. So that's kind of something that they got to get better with. But what I thought was interesting is that he talked about how him and the coaching staff planned on playing PJ Walker today, and I don't understand why. I mean, they might as well. They may have well just go ahead and start PJ Walker. If you don't play him at all, and you think he gave you a good chance to win, and I don't know if the roles was flip flop where PJ Walker was the starter last game and Cam came in on a couple of gimmick plays. I don't know if that's what he was talking about, how he was going to use PJ Walker, but I just don't. It's different because they brought Cam in on goal line situations or short yardage situations where they could use his big body. I don't know how you flip flop to bring in PJ Walker. So I didn't understand that at all, and I hope they I hope they don't. It's just weird. I don't want them to get into the type of thing that they're doing in Miami, where they just don't know if it's gonna be two or 1 week or Brissett the next week. It's just freaking weird. And you see, Tua just had an amazing game last game, and he probably wouldn't even had a shot if Brissett didn't get hurt the game before last. He came in and won that game after Brissett got hurt, and then now he's starting and he's playing well. Now what? Now what do you do? So I think they might just want to get away from that. Pick a guy and go with him. Whoever your starter is, that's your starter. I think they just gotta live with it that way. Don't get into that flip flopping and we trying to utilize both of them, the old college college thing that they do in college. I would stray away from that 100%. I don't think they need to do that. Um, but yeah, I thought that was very interesting what he said. And then, of course, the soundbite I played before was the wrong one, but that was the cornerback Dante Jackson, who got picked on a little bit. He took full accountability, and this is what he was saying. He was eating. That's what he was doing. He was eating and feasting, and Jackson was looking like lunch out there. So he got to fix that. And I don't know when Gilmore is going to be able to go 100%. They're saying they're taking him slowly, week by week, because he's coming off that quiet injury, and he hasn't been playing the whole season. So they're trying to slowly get him in. Man, the defense got a lot of potential. Uh, I don't understand what happened with the pass rush. Heineke played well, but he's not that good. And the Washington football team played well, but they're not that good either. So I was disappointed with the defense not getting consistent pass rush and not stopping the run enough. And this game probably could have got kind of out of hand early if it wasn't for that fumble in the red zone by Gibson. And they was letting Washington just go up and down the field and just convert third and fourth downs. And on the opposite end, we had two major third and fourth down conversions we didn't convert. And I think that was the big thing of the story. The defense was kind of lacking, and then our offense couldn't convert key plays. Didn't have not one turnover. We won a turnover battle. We got a fumble, and Carolina didn't fumble or throw a pick. They did have a turnover on downs, but as far as the Washington football team with takeaways, they didn't get any takeaways. So you get a game where Cam runs for one, throws for two touchdowns. He's accurate as a passer, and no turnovers. It's kind of unfortunate to come away with a loss on that one, especially when you really needed it. You could have went above 500 again, stayed in the playoff hunt. They're not out yet, but this. I mean, these are the games you need right here. You needed this game, but during the press conference, Ron Rivera said something very interesting, and it's probably some truth to it, but it's also him just being a Cam guy that he is. He wanted to, I guess, say something modest that was going to actually not make it. He was throwing Cam a bone, right? And what he said is, we got them at the perfect time. It was a good thing that we got Cam now, before he gets really into the Panthers playbook. So basically what he's saying is, yeah, when Cam get to rolling, some teams will probably go have some issues trying to handle the Panthers, but we got him at the right time. So that was a good thing, nice thing for Ron Rivera to say, man. But that's it, man. I just wanted to get in here and recap the game really quick. This is going to be a reoccurring thing, and so pre-game, post-game, possibly even some play-by-play as well. Yeah, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out the Man Down podcast as well. That's a panel of me and 4 other hosts, or sometimes 3 other hosts, and we also on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts if you want to catch us there as well. But until next time, peace.